New world top threatens Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner. The evolution of the British tennis player is becoming evident in the Spanish capital and already takes him to a more than deserved final. One of the most talked about names lately is Jack Draper, who may complicate things for Carlos Alcaraz. The Brit is making giant strides and is now ranked number 5 in the world, surpassing Novak Djokovic. If he wins in Madrid, he would become the second best tennis player of 2025, only behind the talented Spaniard. Moreover, Draper had already been seen for several seasons as someone capable of reaching Alcaraz's level, although he needed to improve his physicality. That aspect of his career has prevented him from competing at the highest level in Grand Slams. It's not necessary to go far to recall one of his retirements in a major, the 2025 Australian Open. The future of Carlos Alcaraz is already generating expectation due to Jack Draper's rise. In fact, the last few months for the Brit have been those of a global star. His great US Open run drew attention, where he reached the semifinals without dropping a single set, only losing to an unstoppable Jannik Sinner. Still, he was undoubtedly the player who challenged the world number 1 the most and showed that he had the game to match the Spaniard. Let's not forget that a few months earlier, he had already defeated Alcaraz at Queen's, denying him the chance to defend his title and proving unplayable with his serve on grass. And before the end of 2024, in late October, he won the biggest title of his career, the ATP 500 in Vienna, ensuring for the first time a year-end spot in the world's top 20. Currently, Draper has joined the elite club of the top 5 players in the world, so much so that 2025 is shaping up to be his breakthrough year. After retiring in Australia, he reached the final in the ATP of Doha and won his first Masters 1000, Indian Wells. In the Californian desert, Draper defeated strong rivals such as Alcaraz, Rune, Shelton, Fritz, and even the young tennis prospect João Fonseca. Beyond Madrid, the coming months are crucial for Draper. At just 23 years old, he is the best positioned name to occupy the last spot in a somewhat elusive Big Three. Probably, this generation of tennis stars is made up mostly of Alcaraz and Sinner, but the Brit wants to earn his place at the table. Draper responds to Alcaraz, "I guess if you want to be great you have to make sacrifices." The British tennis player responded to the opinion of the Spanish star, who recently said he believed it was possible to enjoy life and still be the best in tennis. Carlos Alcaraz's confessions in the recently released documentary about him, in which the Merchant stated that he saw it as compatible to enjoy life and be the best, have sparked a wave of reactions in the tennis world. One of the first to speak out about Alcaraz's words was fellow Spaniard Roberto Bautista, who in the mixed zone after his loss to Zverev, offered this advice to the Merchant, warning of the difficulty in balancing tennis with enjoying life. "I think top-level tennis demands a lot, right? I don't think Carlos is going to win Grand Slams if he's going to bed at 7 in the morning, right? In the end, I think tennis is very demanding. Everything is very nice now, he's very young, but he has to realize that if he wants to match the numbers of the 3 legends, he has to play at a high level for 15 years. And well, I consider him a smart player and person." A similar opinion was shared by Brit Jack Draper, who after his win over Tommy Paul, analyzed the debate stirred by Alcaraz, asserting that performing at a high level involves sacrifices, so he sees both things as incompatible. You can't deny that in any professional sport, especially tennis, there are fixed things: we play, compete, we're away from our families. We sacrifice our lives. If you play this sport the right way and give everything every day, tennis is very hard. Every day I ask myself, can I keep going? And I do. I guess if you want to be great, these are the things you have to do. There are people out there who have harder jobs, you know? I say this to keep things in perspective. I play a sport I love, travel with amazing people, and make good money. It's a great mental and physical challenge, but in a way, I enjoy it. I don't know how long I'll play or if I'll go until I'm 35. I'll just try to get the most out of my career and reach my full potential. And I know that to do that, I have to give everything. What does Jannik Sinner really envy about Carlos Alcaraz? In a revealing interview for Italian public television, the current world number 1 has broken his silence after serving a 3-month suspension for doping. With his return to the circuit just around the corner and the Rome Masters 1000 as the stage for his comeback, Sinner has reflected on his game, his emotions, and made an unexpected confession about what he most admires in the young Merchant tennis player. Could this rivalry define the future of tennis? Let's find out. Jannik Sinner is back. After his 3-month forced break, the Australian Open champion has reappeared in front of the media with disarming sincerity. In an exclusive interview for RAI, he reviewed not only his physical state but also his mental and technical evolution as a player. "Playing tennis is like playing poker," explained the Italian, making it clear that psychology is as important as talent on the court. In his view, spotting nervousness or doubt in the opponent can completely change the course of a match. And it is precisely in that emotional area where he has learned the most during his absence. Far from appearing as the cold and unshakable player many believe him to be, Sinner admitted that he also struggles with insecurity. "There are moments when I don't feel my game, I get nervous because I want to prove that I'm capable," he admitted. With these words, he breaks the unbreakable image many attribute to him. The pressure to perform at the highest level, the constant need to prove oneself, and the inevitable mistakes are part of his growth process. Smashing the ball or breaking the racket doesn't work, he added, aware that mental control is essential on the path to greatness. Sinner also spoke about his tennis. His backhand is his winning card, his most reliable shot, and he made that clear. Probably the backhand is the strongest, he affirmed without hesitation. However, the Italian surprised everyone by confessing what he really envies about Carlos Alcaraz. It's not his forehand, nor his serve, not even his titles. It's something more intangible but tremendously valuable, his ability to improvise, enjoy, and flow in the middle of chaos. Carlos has a way of playing that seems like he's just in the schoolyard, having fun, he said. That naturalness, that joy under pressure, is what Sinner would like to incorporate into his own game. This confession gives a new dimension to their rivalry. While Sinner has built his tennis on discipline, repetition, and calculation, Alcaraz moves by instinct, passion, and that unpredictable flair that fans love. For the Italian, adding that emotional component could make the difference in major tournaments. "I'd like to learn to play more freely, to enjoy more in important matches," he confessed. And in a sport that is increasingly mental, Alcaraz's ability to turn every match into a spectacle could be as decisive as a good cross-court backhand. Jannik Sinner has made it clear that his ambition remains intact, but he has also shown a humility that is uncommon among great champions. Acknowledging that he still has things to learn, and that one of his biggest rivals possesses qualities he aspires to, says a lot about his character. This rivalry between Sinner and Alcaraz is not just about numbers, rankings, or titles, it's a clash of styles, of game philosophies, and personal evolution. If he manages to add a bit of Alcaraz's flair to his surgical precision, the tennis world may be facing an even more dangerous version of himself. Has a new rival for Carlos Alcaraz emerged during the Merchant's absence? While the Spaniard recovers from injury and remains out of the Mutua Madrid Open, Argentine Francisco Cerundolo has seized the opportunity to match his records and step into the spotlight of world tennis. His incredible performance at the Caja Mágica has taken him to the semifinals, and many now see him as a growing threat to the top names in the circuit. Are we seeing the next big figure in Latin American tennis? Let's find out. Francisco Cerundolo has burst into the decisive stretch of the 2025 Mutua Madrid Open with strength. The 25-year-old Argentine overcame a tough match against the young Czech Jakub Mensik with a hard-fought victory, 3-6, 7-6-5, 6-2, matching the 24 wins of Carlos Alcaraz and Alex de Minaur so far this season. This number places him among the most consistent and solid players on the tour this year. His entry into the semifinals of a Masters 1000, his second at this level, confirms his progress and projects him toward his best ATP ranking, at least 18th place. But beyond the statistics, the Argentine has shown maturity on court that until recently seemed out of reach. He managed to recover from a difficult start against Mensik, an explosive and rising player, and remained firm in key moments. His composure in the second set tiebreak was crucial, and his physical and mental display in the third set proved he is no longer just a promise. Cerundolo not only overcame his own demons, he had 5 straight quarterfinal losses in Masters 1000 events, but did so with authority. This achievement in Madrid has special significance. The Argentine becomes the first semi-finalist from his country at this tournament since Juan Martín del Potro in 2012, a true reference for South American tennis. Cerundolo seems ready to follow in the footsteps of the legendary Delpo, breaking barriers and returning Argentina to the spotlight of major international tennis events. His run in the Caja Mágica is already historic, but he wants more. His next challenge will be Casper Ruud, another clay specialist with whom he has unfinished business since the Miami 2022 semifinal. Back then, Cerundolo fell to the Norwegian in a match where his lack of experience in big events was evident. Today, however, he arrives with 3 titles under his belt, Båstad 2022, Eastbourne 2023, and Umag 2024, and with much sharper competitive maturity. In addition, his aggressive yet patient playing style, combined with newly discovered emotional strength, makes him one of the most dangerous underdogs in the draw. With solid baseline play, a consistent serve, and great mobility, Cerundolo is achieving what many expected from him since his early days. The rise of Francisco Cerundolo to the semifinals of the Mutua Madrid Open not only enriches the tournament, but also sends a clear message to the rest of the circuit: there's a new contender in the fight for major titles. The absence of Carlos Alcaraz has opened a door that the Argentine has cleverly and determinedly walked through. Although they share similar win records this year, Cerundolo's competitive growth in recent weeks makes him a name to watch closely in the European clay court swing. Carlos Alcaraz takes an important step in his recovery. The Spanish tennis player returns to training and everything indicates that he will finally be able to compete in the Rome Masters 1000. Carlos Alcaraz has been the most significant withdrawal from the Mutua Madrid Open, after confirming his absence due to injury. The Mercian had played many matches consecutively, 10 matches in 12 days, and it took a toll on his physical form. The world number 3 was able to win the Monte Carlo Masters 1000 and nearly did the same at the Conde de Godó, but in the final, his body said enough.